Dallas, I'm wondering what Don Schuler's message was to you guys coming out of the half. He could now join the young secondary, and obviously you guys tightened it down quite a bit in the second half.
He just told us, it's football. Keep playing football. It's football at the end of the day. We got to come out hard. Come out, execute everything we've gone over in practice. He's a leader, so we always gonna listen to him. Honor whatever he says.
Whether it was Coach Mickens or Devonta Smith, playing nickel is a challenging role for a freshman, and there's a lot more to it now in the modern game. What did you kind of get from them this week, and what did you feel like you did best in that role today?
Really, like everything, I'll say. From tackling to guarding people, first from the D tackle, from linebackers to safeties to corner, they all fit in. They all help me, fit in with this scheme. So, we went over in practice, just went over it over and over again until I got it, until I understood it. And, they talked to me about every single thing I do.
Front row on the right, Eric Hansen.
Dallas, how much nickel did you play in high school? Just curious.
I didn't play nickel that much in high school.
Okay.
Yes,
So what was the big adjustment with that today? What was different from what you've done?
Just really just being on the field. It wasn't really like a hard really adjustment because I was really prepared. I have guys on the team. It's gonna always help me prepare, from Coach Mickens to Devontae Smith. Carson Hobbs. Leonard Moore, Christian Gray. They don't play nickel, but they're always going to help me out and make sure I'm good.
And can you take us through your interception?
First and foremost, give all glory to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Just Coach Mick talked to me about that play before, the drive before, and he's like, you gotta be there. I listened to him, and yeah.
Second row on your left, Tyler James.
Dallas, how do you try to fit in terms of communication when you get in with some new guys? How do you make sure that you guys are all on the same page?
We practice it all week. They really preach communication, and that helps us play faster. We just got to execute while we communicate.
And then what's the value of being able to continue to play in the second half, even though it was obviously a little bit lopsided towards the end? What's the value of getting good reps like the interception and also getting the touchdown?
It's a blessing, just being able to be on the field with, them guys, Notre Dame football, just something I always dreamed of since I was a little kid. I'm out here playing with them now. So, it's a blessing. I give, all glory to God.
Dallas, thank you.
Boubacar, where do you think this defense is through 3 games? How would you assess how you guys are coming along?
I feel like we're coming along good. We're developing. We still have a long ways to go, but I feel like just with practice and reps, I feel like we're just going to keep going up.
You guys were getting to the quarterback a lot there in the second half. It's kind of like seeing a free throw go through the net almost to know that you guys can do that, and that's what has got to happen going forward.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like whenever we get to the quarterback, good things happen, so, yeah.
Jordan, when you're blocking on the outside as well as you were tonight, and Love and Price are breaking big runs like that, what does that say about you guys as a room, and what does that do for your offense?
At the wide opposition, it's stuff we live for. Technically in the run game, we're not a big part of it, but when you're able to become a big part of it, it's a great feeling, and it really helps the O-line who works so hard on the interior, and it bounces a run for them to go to the end zone. Helping out with that, it's a big thing, and we love it.
Can you take us through the touchdown? It looked like you were running that out route a bunch, then you pulled the out and up.
Yeah, CJ had some visions out there. I'm looking into him. He gave me a little check, a little stutter, so I made it happen. And DB fell for it because he kept running them out routes like you mentioned and hit it for a deep one.
Front row on your right, Pete Sampson.
Jordan, this is your big picture with your game. Where do you think you've progressed the most from last season? Where are you kind of making the biggest strides right now?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is seeing defenses faster and the game kind of slowing down for me in that aspect. Seeing where DBs go, seeing how safeties rotate. It allows me to determine what I'm going to do in my route and, quicken up my route to open up the bigger picture for the quarterback as a whole. And I feel like that's where I've taken a big step.
And is that sort of kind of with confidence? Does that help your confidence grow where you can go out and play faster, but also maybe play more aggressive, throwing blocks with kind of more venomous?
For sure. You got to play with the confidence. You got to go out there and play hard. If you're not the hammer, you're going to be the nail. You're going to get hit. So you got to be the first one delivering that blow. And if you don't have any confidence, it's not going to help you much. So,
Second row on your left, Tyler James.
Jordan, CJ threw 12 passes. How do you, as a receiver and the whole passing game unit, how do you guys stay so efficient when you don't have as many attempts?
Whenever the ball's in there, it's our job to go and get it. That's what we're going to do. If we got to run the ball 60 times a game, we're going to go out there and block our asses off for the – don't know if I'm allowed to curse, my bad. Block our butts off for the running backs and, kind of make this thing go. So that's what we're going to do every day.
Can you describe how differently it feels to have a strong performance offensively in a win compared to, I mean, you guys played pretty well last week, but weren't able to come out with a win?
Yeah, it feels great. I mean, losing these close games like we have the past 2 weeks, you know, it hurts. Obviously, all the work you put in to end in a failure. But I think it's allowed us to play with a chip on our shoulder and, you know, come out and kind of still see the good in everything and use that kind of, you know, as fuel to go out and perform like we did tonight.
Going to stay on that same side, front row, Tyler Horka.
You mentioned CJ seeing the field very well. It seems like he knows exactly where you're going to be when you're going to be there. What is it like to have that kind of chemistry with the quarterback?
It's great. It's everything you could ask for. You know, you get reps and reps throughout the week. You build that connection up, and then when game time comes, you show that connection to the world. And that's what we're able to do tonight.
What does it do for an offense when you guys score on the very first play of the game?
It's amazing. I mean, the linemen love it themselves. I know they were talking about it because they don't they don't get as tired. But it's amazing. I mean, to be able to go out there and punch a defense right in the mouth from the get-go is everything you could ask for, and to be able to do that today was great.
Hey, CJ, you had a big smile, like a weight was lifted off your shoulders walking off the field. What did Marcus say to you towards the end of the game there and then walking off?
Yeah, it was just enjoy the first one. You know, it stinks being 0-2 now 1-2, and you know, those first 2 weeks are hard. You put in like Jordan said, you put in all that work, and the result isn't what you wanted. And so he just said, enjoy this one. There's many more to come, and we're excited to get on Arkansas.
It just seemed like the game slowed down for you today. I mean, what did you see out there this week that changed for you?
I just think, you know, the consistency of working with the same group, of kind of getting our identity as what we want to be on offense, and then just sharpening things up through the last 3 weeks has been great, and I think we look sharp out there today.
Third row on your right, Tim O'Malley.
It's obviously all about points. So the 28 points on 4 first offensive drives didn't slow you down. But when you're 3 of 4 at that point going into the half and you have that fumbled, how do you kind of recalibrate to know that, hey, I'm going to get another chance here in the second half? We're going to attack through the air a little bit as well.
Yeah, I don't think there was much recalibrating at all. You know, there's I'm involved in the run checks and in every play. You just kind of got to be dialed in, and Gino does a good job preparing us for that. And there wasn't much recalibrating when you're always in it, I guess.
Micah Gilbert contributed tonight. Will Pauling as well. What have you seen, especially from Micah coming on as a young player? What have you seen from him? I know you found him obviously for the touchdown in Miami, but this was kind of his continuation, I think, in the offense.
Mike was my roommate coming into to spring of my freshman year, and so it's awesome being able. He was first touchdown pass against Miami was great, and so he's gonna be a special player for us, and it's exciting to just kind of see him coming along, and you know. Yeah, it's amazing to see what he's doing out there.
Front row on your left, Tyler Horka.
Same question I had for Jordan. What does it do for an offense when you're able to score on the very first play, and what did you see on that play?
It's great. It's great. We knew we were going to get quarters. At some point in that game, we had some shots dialed up early. They came out there, and the boundary safety was low, 6 or 7 yards, and field safety was kind of in the run fit, and play action off of it, felt the safety bite down, and then, you know, you're not going to catch Malachi Fields in open space, and so it was great.
And Jordan also mentioned the signal to him before his touchdown.
Yeah, now we got to change the signal. You know what I mean?
Is that something you did in high school a lot when you knew you had a look that you liked? And then what did you see on that one as well?
In high school, shout out to Paul, because I didn't have too much room to check plays until my senior year, but at some point, we got to some situations where I was allowed to check things, and then here it's been very hands-on with, you know, the checks. It's had to continue to build trust with Denbrock and know what we saw. And a few plays earlier, we'd seen the corner not jump, but he was squatting on one of those outs, and so I thought it was a good time to get out there and get a little double move on him, and it ended up working.
Staying in the front row on the left side, Jack Sobel.
CJ, when you're running the ball like you were tonight, you only have to throw 12 passes in a win. Like, what does that do for you as a quarterback?
It's amazing. It's easy. It's you have Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price in the backfield and the best O-line in the country. It just takes all the pressure off my shoulders. I know we're going to run the ball at will, you know, in this game especially. And then when my number's called to make a throw, it kind of spreads everything out too. You know, everyone's focused on that front seven, and then you kind of can hit dinks outside and have guys, you know, split those. It was great.
JD, Coach Freeman said, you know, he could talk all day about your play, but he wants to talk about your unselfishness and how you kind of put your amount of carries aside to help the team. Like, how are you able to do that and set aside your own, you know, you want to get X many carries to help the team?
Yeah, that's just what we do here at Notre Dame. The team comes first. Whatever we need to do to, you know, get our first win of the season. Everything for team glory, really. Whatever I need to do, whether that's score 6 touchdowns or score 0, you know, it doesn't matter to me. Whatever's going to help our team win. So.
What did you see on the kickoff return, and how did it feel to house one for the first time in a couple of years?
It felt good, especially because the first one that I returned earlier in the game, I was pretty close. I had one guy to beat, and I would have scored. So I owed them one on the second one for sure.
Staying in the front row, Tyler Horka.
It's probably a yes, but did you ever score 4 touchdowns in one game in high school?
In high school, yeah. It's been over 4 years. So.
What does it feel like to get into the end zone that many times? For those of us who have never scored 4 touchdowns in one game.
Well, the funny little behind-the-scenes thing, so me and Jeremiah together, we scored 4 last week, and we were like, okay, we got to top it this week. We got to score 6. And we did that. I had 4, he had 2. So that was the funny thing. Like, that was just our challenge we had within the, you know, running back room. Hey, we want to score 6 this game. And so just, you know, challenging ourselves to be explosive every game and do the little things to help the team win, you know. So, yeah.
Staying on the left side, Pete Byrne.
Hey, Jadarian. Given the way the last couple weeks have gone for you guys, how important was it for you guys to get the result today?
It was very important. We knew that, you know, we didn't have to do anything flashy this week. We did a pretty good job last week against A&M. So this week it was all about just, you know, putting our foot down and, you know, showing that we're a dominant team on the ground. And then, you know, when it was time for CJ to throw the ball in the air, he made plays happen, and we saw that on the first play of the game. But I think we did a great job just sticking to the plan, not doing anything crazy, and just trusting Denbrock.
A lot of times we hear about running game, opening things up for the passing game. How does CJ's ability so far that he's demonstrated help you guys out?
I think, as we saw today, CJ can throw an intermediate pass, shallow or deep. You know, he has that great arm talent. But he also has, you know, us in the backfield to, you know, check down to when we need a quick 5, a quick 10. So it's just the trust that we have within the offensive group, and we're going to get better as the season goes on.
Fourth row on the right, Tyler Reedy.
Jadarian, thanks for your time. You know, throughout the delay there, what was the game plan for you individually and the team entirely to stay fresh? Because if the return was any suggestion, you were ready to go.
Yeah, no one likes a delay. When you're out there on fire, like, the last thing you want to do is go to the locker room and get stiff. I mean, they got stiff too, just like we did. So you got to come out and, you know, get stretched up and whatnot. But the last thing you want to do is overcoach within that hour and a half. But the main thing we did was just, you know, hammer in on the details, the little things that we saw throughout the first half of the game. And, you know, I don't think a lot of people expected, you know, the outcome of the kickoff return. But that just goes to show that, you know, no matter what phase, no matter what unit is out there, we're ready to go when our name is called.
Were you kind of taking a play out of Audric Estime's book with the first play touchdown out of a weather delay like 2 years ago at NC State?
If that's funny you bring that up. That's all we were talking about during the during the delay. We were like, remember when Audric scored that? I will say I did not have a hot dog during the delay like he did, so it's not the exact same, but it brought back memories for sure.